Chapter 16. Rue has decided to trust me wholeheartedly. I know this because as soon as the anthem finishes, she snuggles up against me and falls asleep. Nor do I have any misgivings about her, as I take no particular precautions. If she'd wanted me dead, all she would have had to do was disappear from that tree without pointing out the tracker-jacker nest. Needling me at the very back of my mind is obvious. Both of us can't win these games, but since the odds are still against either of us surviving, I managed to ignore the thought. Besides, I'm distracted by my latest idea about the careers and their supplies. Somehow, Rue and I must find a way to destroy their food. I'm pretty sure feeding themselves will be a tremendous struggle. Traditionally, the career tribute strategy is to get a hold of all the food early on and work from there. The years when they have not protected it well. One year, a pack of hideous reptiles destroyed it. Another, a game maker's flood washed it away. Those are usually the years that tributes from other districts have won. That the careers have been better fed growing up is actually to their disadvantage, because they don't know how to be hungry. Not the way Rue and I do. But I'm too exhausted to begin any detailed plan tonight. My wound's recovering, my mind still a bit foggy from the Vindom, and the warmth of Rue at my side, her head cradled on my shoulder, have given me a sense of security. I realize for the first time how very lonely I've been in the arena. How comforting the presence of another human being can be. I give in to my drowsiness, resolving that tomorrow the tables will turn. Tomorrow it's the careers who will have to watch their backs. The boom of the cannon jolts me awake. The sky is streaked with light. The birds are already chattering. Rue perches in a branch across from me, her hands cupping something. We wait, listening for more shots, but there aren't any. What do you think that was? I can't help thinking of Peeta. I don't know. It could have been any of the others, says Rue. I guess we'll know tonight. Who's left again? I ask. The boy from District 1, both tributes from 2, and the boy from 3, Thresh and me, and you and Peeta, says Rue. That's 8. Wait, the boy from 10, the one with the bad leg, he makes 9. There's someone else, but neither of us can remember who it is. I wonder how that last one died, says Rue. No telling, but it's good for us. A death should hold the crowd for a bit. Maybe we'll have time to do something before the game makers decide things have been moving too slowly. I say, what's in your hands? Breakfast, says Rue. She holds them out, revealing 2 big eggs. What kind are those? I ask. Not sure. There's a marshy area over that way. Some kind of water bird, she says. It'd be nice to cook them, but neither of us wants to risk a fire. My guess is the tribute who died today was a victim of the careers, which means they've recovered enough to be back in the games. We each suck out the insides of an egg, eat a rabbit leg and some berries. It's a good breakfast anywhere. Ready to do it? I say, pulling on my pack. Do what? Says Rue. By the way she bounces up, you can tell she's up for whatever I propose. Today, we take out the career's food, I say. Really? How? You can see the glint of excitement in her eyes. In this way, she's the exact opposite of Prim, for whom adventures are an ordeal. No idea. Come on, we'll figure out a plan while we hunt, I say. We don't get much hunting done, though, because I'm too busy getting every scrap of information I can out of Rue about the career's base. She's only been in to spy on them briefly, but she's observant. They have set up their camp beside the lake. Their supply stash is about 30 yards away. During the day, they've been leaving another tribute, the boy from District 3, to watch over supplies. The boy from District 3, I ask. He's working with them? Yes. He stays at the camp full time. He got stung too when they drew the tracker-jackers in by the lake. says Rue. I guess they agreed to let him live if he acted as their guard, but he's not very big. What weapons does he have? I ask. Not much that I could see. A spear. He might be able to hold a few of us off with that. The thrush could kill him easily, says Rue. And the food's just out in the open, I say. She nods. Something's not quite right about that whole setup. I know, but I couldn't tell what exactly, says Rue. Katniss, even if you could get to the food, how would you get rid of it? Burn it, dump it in by the lake, set it in the fuel. I poke Rue in the belly, just like I would Prim. Eat it, she giggles. Don't worry, I'll think of something. Destroying things is much easier than making them. For a while, we dig roots. We gather berries and greens. We devise a strategy in hushed voices. And I come to know Rue, the oldest of 6 kids, fiercely protective of her siblings, who gives her rations to the younger ones, who forges in the meadows in a district where the peacekeepers are far less obliging than ours. Rue, who, when you asked her what she loves most in the world, replies of all things, music. Music, I say. In our world, I rank music somewhere between hair ribbons and rainbows in terms of usefulness. At least a rainbow gives you a tip about the weather. You have a lot of time for that? We sing at home, at work too. That's why I love your pen, she says, pointing to the mockingjay that I've again forgotten about. You love mockingjays? I ask. Oh yes, I have a few that are my special friends. We can sing back and forth for hours. They carry messages for me, she says. What do you mean? I say. I'm usually up highest, so if I'm the first to see the flag that signals quitting time, there's a special little song I do, says Rue. She opens her mouth and sings a little 4-note run in a sweet, clear voice. And the mockingjay spread it around the orchard. That's how everyone knows to knock off, she continues. They can be dangerous, though, if you get too near their nest. But you can't blame them for that. I unclasp the pin and hold it out to her. Here, you take it. It has more meaning for you than me. Oh no, says Rue, closing my fingers back over the pin. I like to see it on you. That's how I decided I could trust you. Besides, I have this. She pulls a necklace woven out of some kind of grass from her shirt. On it hangs a roughly carved wooden star. Or maybe it's a flower. It's a good luck charm. Works so far, I say, pinning the mockingjay back on my shirt. Maybe you should just stick with that. By lunch, we have a plan. By early afternoon, we are poised to carry it out. I help Rue collect and place the wood for the first 2 campfires. The third, she'll have time for her own. We decide to meet afterward at the site where we ate our first meal together. The stream should help guide me back to it. Before I leave, I make sure Rue's well stocked with food and matches. I even insist she take my sleeping bag, in case it's not possible to rendezvous by nightfall. What about you? Won't you be cold? She asks. Not if I pick up another bag by the lake, I say. You know, stealing isn't illegal here, I say with a grin. At the last minute, Rue decides to teach me her mockingjay signal, the one she gives to indicate the day's work is done. It might not work, but if you hear the mockingjay singing it, you'll know I'm okay. Only I can't get back right away. Are there many mockingjays here? I ask. Haven't you seen them? They've got nests everywhere, she says. I have to admit, I haven't noticed. Okay then, if all goes according to plan, I'll see you for dinner, I say. Unexpectedly, Rue throws her arms around me. I only hesitate a moment before I hug her back. "You be careful," she says to me. "You too," I say. I turn and head back to the stream, feeling somehow worried. About Rue being killed. About Rue not being killed, and the two of us being left for last. About leaving Rue alone. About leaving Prim alone back home. No, Prim has my mother, and Gil and the baker who's promised she won't go hungry. Rue has only me. Once I reach the stream, I have only to follow it downhill to the place I initially picked it up after the tracker-jacker attack. I have to be cautious as I move along the water, though, because I find my thoughts preoccupied with unanswered questions, most of which concern PETA. The cannon that fired early this morning, did that signify his death? If so, how did he die? At the hand of a career? And was that in revenge for letting me live? I struggle again to remember that moment over Glimmer's body, when he burst through the trees. But just the fact that he was sparkling leads me to doubt everything that happened. I must have been moving very slowly yesterday, because I reached the shallow stretch where I took my bath in just a few hours. I stopped to replenish my water and add a layer of mud to my backpack. It seems bent on reverting to orange no matter how many times I cover it. My proximity to the careers camp sharpens my senses, and the closer I get to them, the more guarded I am, pausing frequently to listen for unnatural sounds, an arrow already fitted into the string of my bow. I don't see any other tributes, but I do notice some of the things Rue has mentioned. Patches of the sweet berries, a bush with the leaves that heals my stings, clusters of tracker-jacker nests in the vicinity of the tree I was trapped in, and here and there, the black and white flash of a mockingjay wing in the branches high over my head. When I reached the tree with the abandoned nest at the foot, I paused a moment to gather my courage. Rue was given specific instructions on how to reach the best spying place near the lake from this point. Remember, I tell myself, you're the hunter now, not them. I get a firmer grasp on my bow and go on. I make it to the copse Rue has told me about, and again have to admire her cleverness. It's right at the edge of the wood, but the bushy foliage is so thick down low, I can easily observe the career camp without being spotted. Between us lies a flat expanse where the games begin. There are 4 tributes: the boy from District 1, Kato, and the girl from District 2, and a scrawny, ashen-skinned boy who must be from District 3.